Hello everyone. Today, we're looking back at Loretta Lynn, not just a country star, but an icon of courage and a desire to be heard. With her soft yet powerful voice, she dared to sing about birth control, domestic violence, and the pain of millions of women who were once silenced. From her band Hit the Pill, to her rumored affair with Conway Twitty, to her tumultuous marriage to Doolittle Lynn, Loretta lived her truth, sang her truth, and turned her pain into strength. Watch until the end to understand why her voice still resonates, a reminder that women deserve to be heard, to be remembered, and never to be erased. On April 14, 1932, in the heart of America in the midst of the Great Depression, a baby girl was born in Butcher Hollow, Kentucky, a place so poor that there was no electricity, no clean water, and almost no hope. Yet, that little girl carried a miracle. Her name was Loretta Lynn. Her father was a coal miner, her mother had Cherokee blood. The family was so poor that they had to rely on farming and courage. But from poverty, Loretta learned something more valuable than any degree, the strength to not give up. Loretta's childhood was spent quietly living in the hills of Appalachia, where hunger, cold, and injustice followed her every step. But in her heart, a dream soon formed, to sing, to be heard. She had nothing but a gifted voice and an unyielding spirit. In the late 1950s, when many women were still confined to the kitchen, Loretta Lynn took to the stage with a band called the Trailblazers, which she and her brother J. Lee Webb formed. From small local stages in Washington, she won a talent show in Tacoma, a seemingly small moment, but one that changed her life. That performance caught the eye of Norm Burley, co-founder of Zero Records in Canada. And then, as fate would have it, Loretta was taken to Hollywood to record her first 4 songs. Among them was a song called I'm a Honky Tonk Girl, the first song, and the first brick that laid the foundation for her later brilliant music career. But what people admire is not just the music, but the way Loretta entered the game. No manager, no big contract, no halo to guide her. Just an old car, a crate of vinyl records, and her faithful husband, Doolittle Lynn, driving across America. They took each record to each radio station, each faraway city. It was a dusty, tiring journey, but also one of courage and faith. And then, the miracle happened. I'm a Honky Tonk Girl climbed to number 14 on the Billboard charts, not by luck, but by the resilience of a woman who believed in her voice. This, folks, is not just a story about a song. This is a story about courage, about a woman who didn't wait for a miracle, but created the impossible herself. Loretta Lynn didn't just enter the music charts. She entered the heart of America with her truth, her pain, and her voice that cannot be ignored. If this story touches your heart, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. Because there are many legends like Loretta Lynn who lived, fought, and sang, waiting to be told in the way they deserve. After her initial success with I'm a Honky Tonk Girl, Loretta Lynn didn't stop there. The doors to Nashville opened quickly. With the support of the Wilburn brothers, she signed with Decca Records and began one of the most influential musical journeys in country music history. Her first single under the label, Success, was released in 1962 and quickly climbed into the top 10. From there, Loretta continued to create hits that captivated the nation: Before I'm Over You, Wine, Women and Song, Blue Kentucky Girl, and Happy Birthday, all of which stormed the charts throughout the 1960s and 1970s. But it wasn't until 1967 that she truly did something no one else dared to do. Don't Come Home A-Drinkin', with Lovin' on Your Mind, a stark warning to drunken husbands who come home demanding affection as a right. The lyrics are straightforward and raw. The vocals are steely, yet full of emotion. The song didn't just top the charts, it sparked a national conversation. For the first time, millions of wives felt like someone was singing their hearts out. Loretta began to rewrite the rules of country music on her own terms. And then in 1970, she released a song that would forever be synonymous with her, coal miner's daughter. This was no longer music. This was memory. This was truth set to melody, a raw picture of her childhood in the mountains of Kentucky, where she grew up surrounded by coal, dust, and poor food. The song not only topped the country charts but also reached the Billboard Hot 100, a rarity for a country artist at the time. The song later became the title of her best-selling autobiography and the Oscar-winning 1980 film of the same name, starring Sissy Spacek as Loretta. However, the most controversial turning point came in 1975 when Loretta released The Pill, a song that dared to talk about a woman's right to choose, about birth control, things that were almost taboo in music at the time. Dozens of radio stations refused to play it, but women across America quietly found it. And they turned it into a hit, an icon, a declaration that they had a voice, a right to decide their own lives. But behind the scenes was another story. One that Loretta never officially confirmed, but never denied. Beginning in the 1970s, rumors began to circulate about an affair between Loretta and her most consistent partner, Conway Twitty. They weren't just a great duo on stage. They dominated the charts as a power duo, winning a Grammy together in 1971 for After the Fire Is Gone. But to those close to them, the fire was more than just a metaphor. Loretta and Conway often stayed in the same hotels, spending hours together between tours. A Dallas waiter once revealed that he brought wine to their room and found them both naked. He later claimed he was paid to keep quiet. We may never know the whole truth, but what is undeniable is that their relationship, whatever it was, had a special energy. A magnetism that made it impossible for the audience to look away. And perhaps it is precisely these ambiguities that create the eternal appeal of Loretta Lynn, a woman who was strong, fragile, painfully honest, but always knew how to turn her whole life into songs that left others speechless. Their duets, though polished on the surface, held something deeper. Listen to Lead Me On or You're the Reason Our Kids Are Ugly. You can hear it, the longing, the pain, the fire they tried to contain. This wasn't performance. This was real emotion, leaking through every note. Loretta Lynn, so often strong and unshakable, seemed like a different woman when singing beside Conway. There was vulnerability, passion, and also fear. It was love complicated by timing, morality, and fame, a private storm hidden behind the glare of the spotlight. There were moments on stage when Loretta Lynn could no longer hold back the pain. Audiences watched as she broke into tears mid-performance, especially during duets with Conway Twitty. One lighting technician remembered she couldn't leave the stage. She was sobbing on Conway's shoulder. We all sensed something was deeply wrong, but no one dared to ask. That memory came from 1993. That same year, Conway Twitty passed away suddenly from a brain aneurysm. The news sent shockwaves through the country music world, but for Loretta, it was a private catastrophe. Backstage at the funeral, she reportedly fainted the moment she saw Conway's face for the last time. A close friend later whispered, she didn't just lose a friend. She lost the man she was never allowed to love in the open. It was, perhaps, the greatest heartbreak of her life. A love lived in silence, never fully spoken, never truly claimed. Yet even in grief, Loretta Lynn stood tall in the public eye. The 1980s marked a powerful new era in her legacy, not just as a country music legend, but as a woman who would be celebrated by Hollywood and embraced as a cultural icon. On March 5, 1980, Coal Miner's Daughter premiered in Nashville. Adapted from Loretta's best-selling autobiography, the film wasn't just another biopic. It was a cultural event. The true story of a girl raised in poverty in the Kentucky mountains became a national box office sensation. The film starred Sissy Spacek as Loretta and Tommy Lee Jones as her husband Doolittle Mooney Lynn. Coal miner's daughter went on to earn 7 Academy Award nominations. Spacek won Best Actress for her stunning, emotionally raw performance. The soundtrack album went gold. Spacek herself was nominated for a Grammy and received multiple honors from the Country Music Association, the Academy of Country Music, and the Golden Globes. This was a rare moment when a country artist wasn't just acknowledged by the mainstream, but celebrated. The film's success rekindled the public's love for Loretta Lynn. People who had never listened to country music found themselves moved by the story of a coal miner's daughter who refused to be defined by hardship. She became more than a music star. She became a symbol. A woman who rose above her circumstances with grit, grace, and authenticity. While Hollywood hailed her story, Loretta continued to thrive in the recording studio. In the early 1980s, she released powerful singles like Naked in the Rain, Somebody Led Me Away, and I Lie, which became her last solo top 10 hit in 1982. As country music shifted toward a glossier, more commercial sound, Loretta stayed true to her roots. She told stories that were unfiltered, honest, and deeply emotional. In 1985, she released Just a Woman, which brought her a top 40 hit. That same year, Heart Don't Do This to Me reached number 19 on the charts, marking her final solo top 20 hit. Another highlight came in 1987 when she collaborated with Kitty Wells, Brenda Lee, and K.D. Lang on Lang's album Shadowland. Their rendition of Honky Tonk Angel's medley earned a Grammy nomination and the album went gold. Once again, Loretta proved her voice could bridge generations. In 1988, she released Who Was That Stranger, her last solo studio album under MCA Records. By 1989, she officially ended her partnership with the label, closing one chapter of a remarkable recording career that had already spanned 3 decades. But Loretta Lynn was far from finished. Her music, her message, and her unshakable presence continue to inspire a new era of artists and remind the world that truth, even when painful, has its own kind of beauty. That same year, Loretta Lynn was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. It was more than an award. It was a national recognition for the woman who had reshaped the voice of country music for over 2 decades. From songs that once shocked radio stations to anthems that inspired generations, she had earned her place in history. In the final years of her life, the queen of country music faced mounting health struggles. Pneumonia struck more than once. A fall at home left her with a broken arm. Her body, once so strong and tireless, began to show the weight of time. Three days later, she was laid to rest beside her husband, Doolittle Lynn. The love of her youth. The man who stood with her at the beginning of her journey. Together, in life and death, they closed one of the most iconic chapters in the story of American music. From a small cabin in Butcher Hollow, Kentucky, to the grandest stages of Nashville and beyond, Loretta Lynn carried the strength of Appalachia, the voice of working women, and the truth of her heart into every lyric. She was more than a star. She was a symbol of survival, of honesty, of timeless American grit. If you found Loretta Lynn's journey powerful and inspiring, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss more stories of the legends who shaped music history. Thank you for watching.